Hello my friends, this is Oleg and this is my tech review. So today's tech review is about phones. I've been Apple iPhone user for quite some time already, and I actually used to have my iPhone version 1. And since that I got pretty much all the versions of iPhones. Once iPad got introduced, I got iPad version 1, and now I'm using iPad as well, 12.9 inch. So I also got Macs, my iMac Pro is on the back, as you can see that over there. This is the machine which I'm using to do all the videos. I have MacBook Pro. So I'm an Apple fan, as you can tell, and someone can tell me that I'm brainwashed by Apple, sucked into the Apple ecosystem, and you will be correct to some degree, but there is a very good reason for it. All these devices which Apple introduced are working seamlessly together. At least I never had major headaches integrating them and working between one device going to another device. That's why I think it's expected, and this is what we see, that most of the Apple iPhone users got the devices on the latest iOS release, comparing to Android, which depends, right? I talk to some people and they tell me that they're afraid to actually upgrade because they think something will break. From the perspective of users and customers of this company, with all the engineering power and money that Apple has, we expect nothing less but the best from this company. From what I see, in my opinion, that Apple is now moving towards the company which is making money, and that's the priority right now for them, instead of actually putting a lot of effort into innovation. So when the iPhone X was introduced, it was a major leap into the smartphone industry, and that's actually created a lot of hype on this device, and I got that device. It's definitely worth the money, but the thing is, it was the first device on the smartphone market which would break $1,000 price tag, and you can tell me, oh, if you don't have money, just buy a cheaper phone. But at the same time, if you look at the competition, there is a lot of innovation on the outside of Apple ecosystem, which is basically reasonably priced, right? So that's the trend which Apple is doing right now with iPhone X and iPhone XS and 10 and 10R. All of those got significant price increase with a very little update from the technology perspective. So of course we got A12 Bionic chip, we got new T2 security chip, which makes the whole experience better and much faster, but from the user perspective there is not much change. It's the same iPhone, same UI, nothing major happening on that territory. When the things are stuck on one side, they definitely moving usually on the other side. And by the other side I mean Android ecosystem and all these Google services which are surrounding and supporting Android ecosystem. So what I decided to do, I decided to look outside of the box. I decided to look outside of my comfort zone and see what else is available outside of this garden, which is well-guarded garden by Apple, where you just get sucked in and you just user of all these services together, and that would make it very difficult for you to leave this ecosystem because of all integration and services which are working seamlessly together. But there is always a good idea to look outside to see what else is available, and I decided to do so in 2019. For that test I have considered the following phones. It's OnePlus 6T, Note 9, Huawei P20 Pro and Razr 2. I know that there are many other phones which are very good as well, but these four, they're constantly getting high review on the internet, and I also looked on the Marcus 2018 award for the award video. I'm gonna put the links in the description down below for that video, and that video also resulted to me to make a choice between these four. So Android phones, right? So from the price perspective and benefits which you get, and also the innovative tech, I decided to select the phone which is more or less an adequate price and reasonably priced, and at the same time got latest Android version, which is Android 9 Pie. So why I got OnePlus 6T? Major reason was that I read that from the OS perspective and the Android experience perspective, this is almost like the best phone available, mostly because of its Oxygen OS and its integration on top of Android 9 Pie. So you got all the gestures, all the swipes, all the zoom speech and all that other stuff, most of services, but most importantly you still have the advances of Android OS, which would be the primary reason people are using that, is full customization of the device, and full control pretty much of the device. I was always cautious on using Android OS, mostly because of its compatibility issues, hardware problems related to integration to specific phones, malware, viruses, protection, sometimes pretty poor code control, which would result in lots of applications which are not really working properly and not as advertised. My list of the issues and concerns was so long that it kept me on iOS for most of that time. I was Apple user and I didn't even look on Android. But right now Android version 9 Pie is considered to be more or less stable. It is very rich with the features like swipe gestures, full control of the phones. It's got Android Market as well for the applications, so it should be no problem trying that out to see if it's really worth the money to switch to Android, because the phones are most of the time is much cheaper than Apple, and from the perspective of what you get from the camera side, for example, sometimes it's even better than Apple. If you look on Samsung, LG and other manufacturers, they're all using Android. Interfaces and UIs of these companies are silky smooth, got lots of features as well, similar to what you see on iOS. So from the perspective of user experience, it's pretty much the same. The only thing is that the backbone of the phone is different. It's running different OS. Okay, so this is the box. I got it from DHL and it's signed delivery. So when you open it up, so there is a package list and there is an actual box with the phone inside of it, right? So it's OnePlus. You can tell that OnePlus got its own kind of color scheme. It's white casing with red stripes on top. So that's how the box looks like. So let's open it up. We'll see what we have inside. This is unboxing experience right now, but I always wanted to see what we have in these particular phones, especially after the Apple stripped down the packages for the iPhones and took out some of the stuff. So that's a personal note to you as the owner of the new owner of the OnePlus device. So we'll take it out, we'll see, let's open it up. The box is opening slowly and here we go. What we got inside? This is the phone right on the top. You can tell it's got very small notch here, and there is a sticker here indicating that it's got fingerprint scanner as well. So we're gonna take it out. We'll see what else is inside this box. Alright, so that's the cover, and what we have right here, it's a case. Woo! We got a case. It's not something like fancy case and so on, but it will work, at least for initial, for your protection of the phone. What else? There is a documentation, there is some stickers here. This is the SIM ejection pin, which helps you to install your own SIM. Some information about OnePlus, safety information, set of stickers from OnePlus. And that's instructions. Unlock the speed. What else do we have? We also have invitation letter. That's the letter from Pete. It's a welcoming letter and it's welcoming me to the One World community, and it's from Pete, OnePlus CEO. It's written right here. Thank you. It's invitation letter. So we also got here very powerful power brick. And it's 4 amps, which is very good, it's fast charging. And I also got USB-C cable, which is red, USB-A to USB Type-C. And look at that, we also got connector, which will allow you to connect your regular headphones to the actual OnePlus device using USB-C. So that's an unboxing experience with OnePlus 6T. So you can see right away that this is a fingerprint scanner right there. You have to remove this. And once the phone is powered up, oh, there is one more on the back, so we're removing that too. And it's pretty clean. You see that's reflective surface. While it's clean, we have to put it inside the casing, at least the one which we have coming with the phone. So let's do that, and then we can fire it up first time. Alright, the significance of this phone is its cameras as well as the design, right? So it's got 2 cameras on the back. One is 16 megapixel aperture 1.7, and the other one is 20 megapixel aperture 1.7 as well. The front-facing camera is 20 megapixel aperture 2.0. On DxOMark I looked at that phone and it's got index of 98, which is pretty high. It's 2 point more than regular 1.6 from OnePlus as well, and they said that it's better because the camera's got bigger dynamic range, the camera's got better details, the camera got more advanced bokeh shots, and it's got better and faster autofocus, better working LED flash, and some other things like HDR and stuff. But at the same time, they pointed minuses on these phones as well, saying that when you zoom in on this phone, you actually losing the details, and then HDR works at certain conditions. There is a halo around the objects, ring halo, which is introduced by artifacts created by HDR processing. On the rest of the specs, this phone actually delivers on pretty much every direction. 128 GB of internal storage. There is a model which come up also with 256 GB, and it's good, but for me it's a little bit overkill. Anything above 128, because most of my data is in the cloud anyway, so I'm barely using all this storage. And 64 GB would be a stretch, like if you go to iPhone, for example, there is a model for 64 gig. For me it will be a stretch to the other direction, but 128 is optimum, and it's got that model, 128 GB, which is very good as well. The battery on this phone is 3750 milliamp hours, and from the test, its solid working time is around 9 to 10 hours, and that's very good. Much bigger than some other phones as well. It's got beautiful AMOLED 6.4 inch display, which you see it's reflective, while because it's new, but once you got your fingers around it, it's not going to be that reflective anyway. And it's running Android 9.0 Pie out of the box, you don't have to upgrade or anything. And it's running Oxygen OS 9.03 on top of that. So the resolution of the screen is 2340 by 180 with maximum brightness of 405 nits, which is very good. The Oxygen OS also introduced some features for fast application startup. They call it Application Boost. And there are some other aggressive applications inside the phone to keep battery consumption low. So anything running in the background which you don't use is actually going to be removed right away. So the only 4 downsides which we have on this phone, which I see right now, is first of all, for some of us will be important, is no phone head jack. Some people see that that's one of the critical options which we would like to have in this phone, but OnePlus gives you adapter, which Apple also used to give you that adapter, but they stopped doing that. And I really think they should include with adapter because it's cost little, but it's showing the customers of your phone that you actually love them and you care about the customers. Apple is not really showing that love anymore. The powerful 4 amp brick, which is very good. This is I don't see that before, and it's allowing you to fast charging. The other downside which I see on this phone is no wireless charging on this phone, unfortunately. The back is from the glass, so I don't see the reason why they didn't add that. Instead, what they did, they added this very powerful charger, and the phone is capable of doing fast charging over that, and it's claimed to reach 60% of the battery charge within first 30 minutes. We'll see about that, we'll test it, and I'll let you know. The other thing is, which I also expect on this phone, which we got on most of the Android phones, it's micro SD SIM, which would allow you to extend the memory of the phone to have some other capacities on additional capacity for the storage. No such thing on this one. And the last but very important one is that this phone is not protected by water resistance, so it's not IP67 certified. And I think in 2018 and 19, the phones which we receive right now, even for that money which we have for this phone, should have IP67 rating at least, and maybe IP68 for the best. So let's fire it up and set it up, because I really want to set up this Touch ID and see how the Face ID works, but we'll continue after that. I started to charge it, and the phone, as you see, it's already charged to 51%, now it's already 52%. so it's getting the charge very fast. Powered by Android. Okay, hopefully now it's gonna start up. Alright, hi there. Alright, let's see, what do we have? Start. OnePlus terms and conditions. When I click on this, it's got very nice taptic feedback on in each step when you touch the screen. Copy the data in apps. Don't copy data. I don't have anything because I'm an Apple user, so I don't have anything on my accounts. Alright, so now you see it's asking for actual verification. So it's gonna go face and fingerprint scan to unlock. Now it's saying let's do setup unlock using face unlock. Allow. And what it does right now, if you see here on the video, it's asking me to feed the face into the screen. So let me just do that. Okay, and it's saying it's done. So let's confirm. Now use your fingerprint scanner. Allow you to unlock using fingerprint. Okay. Okay, fingerprint added. So now it's doing its own setup. Anything else? Another fingerprint, change the font size, change the wallpaper. No thanks. Let's go and start it for now. And here we go. And that's it set up right now. So for security, this phone only got this notch right here, right? This is front-facing camera, which is used for security. And it's got 20 megapixel front facing. It's 2D scan, so it's not very secure. So I would rather not use that for actual security purposes, to buy something in stores or stuff like that. But it will work, and it is fast, but it's not foolproof. Much better to use fingerprint scanner to unlock the phone. 0.34 seconds response time for the scanner. It's pretty decent, right? It's not the fastest, but it's still very good. So the phone interface is very good as well. As you can see, it's launching pretty much all the applications very fast. So it's going back and forth between the apps, so as you can get the apps right away. Finger scanner, you see here, there's a touch, and it's saying like you have to open up and press the button, and it's unlocked very fast as well. Hey guys, so that's it for today's review. OnePlus 6T. Do I like this phone? Well, from the first impression and from the unboxing and whatever time I have spent using it already, doing pictures and navigating across different applications, it is very impressive. The fingerprint scanner is definitely an impressive thing in that someone can consider that as a gimmick, but it's pretty well designed gimmick, and it's working almost instantly when you need it. And the face recognition on this phone is, I would not bet my money on it because it's like way behind than the Face ID, but in general I like the phone. I will give that phone a try, put my SIM card into it, use it as my daily driver, and see how much effort it's gonna cost me to actually maintain that phone, use my regular daily applications on that phone, see how they behave. I also noticed that, for example, Instagram on the latest update got some bugs in it and applications sometimes just stall. So while it's still working perfectly on my iOS app. If you like this video, you know what to do. Give us thumbs up, like, click on the like button, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. I'll see you in the next tech review. For now, thank you for watching. Peace.